Hello and welcome to the Freedom of Thought podcast. I am your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Freedom of Thought is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps. I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to this show. It's a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. Well, I'm guessing this is going to be a little shorter episode and a lot more lighthearted than, say, the last one. The last one was, that was a pretty fun production that I put together about the OJ case and, my beliefs as to what really may have happened there. I put a question mark because it's like I would be pretty arrogant to be like, what really happened? I know. No, I don't know. But it's like, what really did happen? That kind of thing. So that was the whole point there. But yeah, do check that out if you can. If you are so interested to check out a fascinating point of view on the OJ case, not from me necessarily, but from William Deere and me kind of putting it together. He was a private investigator from Texas. As for right now, this is that magical time of year that I cherish so much, as it's like the heart of spring. It's like the heart of spring before everything starts opening up. There is something magical, and you might be able to hear quietly in the background a little crackling. And it's like finally have my... Sometimes, a lot of times I would go to my parents' house because being in an apartment and all that, I didn't have any place to store a fire pit. So, yes, I do live in an apartment in Golden Valley, and Golden Valley, Minnesota, that is. So oftentimes I'd go to my parents' house because with a fire pit that, I helped purchase a while back. Sorry for this noise here. Somebody has a gruesome beast or something. But anyhow, sorry, that was pretty... he's never going to stop, is he? But no, the point is that, I would often go to my parents' house for a fire pit because they'd be like having a dinner or whatever, and it's like all of that. So, but then finally, when I was able to get a garage for the apartment, which is an extra charge, of course, finally had a place to put a fire pit. So here I am with my own fire pit. And this time of year, there's just nothing like... The whole point is, now that I'm distracted enough for this stupid dog, that I can have my fire pit a lot closer to home now in my own apartment area, kind of far out in the parking lot, out by the woods, basically, and enjoy peaceful time. When, thank God that stupid dog went away. Yeah, but can enjoy a peaceful time this time of year. Like a lot of people think about fire pits and bonfires and such in the autumn. For me, it feels like even better this time of year, like mid to late April, all the way through the month of May. There's just something magical about it. Especially for some reason, April you could argue is even better because it's like I was saying, how flowers haven't bloomed yet, buds are just starting to open. It's just kind of that vibe, and as long as it's dry enough, which it is, there's something special about it because it's still pretty chilly out, and all that. It's a very special time for me to have a fire, and of course, I like to have them throughout the summer as long as it's not too hot and humid, or of course a thunderstorm that wouldn't be nice either. But and then your mind can just wander as the fire is crackling away. And I admire how this cute little fire pit, it's smaller than you could call it mid-sized one at my parents' house. This one's kind of like a medium-small, I guess, fire pit. But for some reason, even though it's like you can't fit as much wood in it, it's like perfect. I mean, the thing lights, or the wood seems to light better in this thing, and it seems sustained, and it's just wonderful. At least right as I say that, now it's starting to semi-go out, but no, it's coming back. It's kind of funny. But, yeah, it's something, I remember I even talked about it last year because I waited so long to finally be able to use the fire pit again. Not that it was my choice, but you know how things go, circumstances, this and that. But now to finally be able to just do it on my own, it's wonderful. I know that sounds lame and pathetic, but I live in an apartment and I had no place to store a fire pit. That was the whole reasoning. Well, I have a place to store a fire pit, so not that it's about me and my fire pit necessarily as much as the season. It's magical. Even before the lilacs and the tulips maybe are starting to open. It's like the early flowers of the year, the earliest, like the tulips, the April flowers that go with the April showers. it's a magical time of year. You know, you got the moon in the background. You get the spring stars, you could say, like Spica, which is a blue giant off in the distance on the Virgo constellation. You got Arcturus up in the east, which is a bit higher up in the sky now as we get further into actual spring versus like late winter. It's beautiful. It's just, again, it's a time of year that I cherish so much, and I can imagine a lot of you out there would feel the same in a lot of ways, because you can start grilling, you can start doing fire pits. Now that I mentioned that 50 times, people off in the distance are shooting out fireworks for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on. No, this is not about 420. Luckily, that already passed. So, no, I'm not interested in that topic at all. Okay, should it be criminalized? No. That's, of course, pot. But at the same time, is it something to celebrate that it was legalized? Not really. Not from what I've seen firsthand, what it can do to families. It's not that good. It's not that good of a thing. I've seen multiple close family members have massive problems in their family, which is really sad. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave that exactly where it is, and that's the farthest it needs to go. It's not good. I don't think it's a good thing, but whatever it is, whatever it was. Again, it's just a wonderful time of year to enjoy being outside, get on your bike. It's kind of like, again, like I'm saying, enjoying the season. And I tend to get into that quite a bit on this show when my mind tends to wander. I don't know, and I always used to wonder, like, revolutionary soldiers, starting up a fire, Civil War soldiers starting up a fire, to cooking or whatever, or just kind of their camp and everything, unfortunately in not so good circumstances in those cases. But I'm sure even for those men that the fire maybe calmed them down a bit during those tough times. I mean, tough times that most of us can't even imagine being in, not only a war, but wars during those days when a lot of times when you got wounded, your life was ruined. Basically, you're either going to die or you're never going to be the same again. And that can happen today too as well. But I mean, even like general wounds would pretty much leave you disabled at best. And it's just kind of sad to think about, even as recent as, the Civil War. We're not talking about the Roman soldiers in, Jesus' time or before, anything like that. Obviously, that's way the heck back in the day. But, yeah, I mean, I always imagine them hanging out by the fire, like the different fires at the camp, the soldiers, be it Revolutionary days, be it, Civil War days, or who knows, even way before everything, the 1600s, the Pilgrims, and people that lived after the Pilgrims. There's always that in-between era between, say, the Pilgrims and leading all the way up to the Revolutionary times. Just think of how many years that is. That's about 150 years of not that much history, really. I mean, there was history and such, but it wasn't really as much. Just like there's a part of the Bible where from, like, say, Daniel's days up to Jesus, there's kind of a gap there as well. It's actually kind of fascinating when you think about that, like a 400-year span or so in the biblical times. So, yes, this is where your mind can wander and you get freedom of thought when you're hanging out by the fire, as it was almost starting to go out, but minor adjustments and the thing, bloop, it pops right back up again. So, cute little pet. It works so nicely. And this one has the loose bowl where you can dump out the ashes later on once they're out, of course, not when they're still going. There's obviously, earlier in the weekend, they were talking about fire weather and all that with like wind and the really low dew point, but the wind is pretty low right now, so that's another reason where maybe it wasn't a good time to do a fire, unfortunately. Like even yesterday was pretty windy still. So stuff like that, obviously, and unfortunately a lot of people being very careless or intentional stuff going on. As we might get a little political here on freedom of thought, that's been a big part of the show for many years, or not many years, but, well, as long as the show's been around anyway. It's not that old of a show. But yeah, that's been a big part of the show. It's political. It's how maybe intentional sabotage to kind of push this global warming, green agenda, whatever the heck it is. Green Step City this and green that, and, Great Reset this and Great Reset that. Where I don't know, like these crazy lunatics would be willing to go as far as to push pollution into the air to help reflect the sunlight. They're like that crazy. Or they're just pulling off a scam and trying to make money off of people, which I think is the number one component. But other people are actually believing in some of that. Let's reflect the sunlight back into the outer space, and that could help bring down the global warming, which again, again is insane, because like I've talked about in the past, how when Mars's Mars poles shrank at the same time Earth's poles shrank, which again tells you that was more of like sun cycles more than anything else. But again, why am I getting into global warming or climate change? I don't know. It's not really necessarily the biggest topic I want to get into at the moment, but last year really was one heck of a crazy situation with all the fires and such, and the hazy skies and the weird substances you were seeing on leaves. It's pretty strange. It's a very, very odd deal. So that set me off a bit. Is it just me, or did an extra light just go on? I don't know. No, I don't think so. Oh, that might be a car. Oh well, I don't care. Shouldn't be a problem. At least I don't think so. As long as I'm careful and tending to the fire the whole time and nobody's going to harass you, at least I hope. So, no, they're going the other way. Anyhow, yeah, this is just something, if you haven't really done a fire pit much, and maybe you've always kind of wanted to do it. It's absolutely worth it. And I swear, like, the wood you could get at like grocery stores and such, if it's like a pine wood, it is the best of the best. Birchwood kind of stinks a little bit sometimes, but I guess it's up to you what you like. There's just something magical about any type of a pine wood. If you can manage to get that, the smell is unbelievable. So yeah, there might be a little bit of a crackling, which you might think is dangerous sometimes, the popping and crackling, but I haven't really felt any threat from it, honestly. So at the end of the day, I'm not all too worried about it. Hopefully this thing didn't just lock up on me. Hopefully you're still hearing what I'm saying. Yes, okay, good. So again, this is going to be a short episode, but figured I'd get something out. Obviously, again, situations with in the political world, it's always ongoing. Biden's obviously always pushing nonsense. I don't know, like saying nonsense. Obviously, the craziness that happened last weekend with the drones in Iran and all that. Some people believe that Israel actually provoked them. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where to go with a lot of that. I've generally been known to stand with Israel, and I would like to continue to do that. I can't imagine Iran being good. I can't imagine them being good, really, in a lot of ways, obviously. With the whole situation with Iran, getting all the way back into the 80s, Iran was the problem, not Iraq. It's just Iraq became the problem when Bush and others saw that Saddam Hussein had gotten too big for his britches, basically. And, yeah, that's kind of where things went there. Also, along with the fact that kind of more of a New World Order agenda type of thing, getting central banks into countries like Afghanistan and Iraq, which they didn't have a central banking system before all of that took place. So, again, it's all one big plan, a big idea, a New World Order, as George H.W. Bush said many times in the past. A big idea, a New World Order, and the illumination of 1,000 points of light and all that crazy stuff. Fascinating episode that I listened to today. It came out earlier in the week, of course, but I tend to listen to the Final Hour podcast on Sunday afternoons, even though it's already about 4 days old by the time I'm listening to it. But that's okay. And amazing. It was the longest episode they ever did, and this one was about Freemasons. I could probably do a nice long episode about that too, and I probably will someday. Wow. So definitely check that out, no doubt about it. I won't try to spoil their episode or anything. Just, again, lots of details, and let's just say kind of a lot of stuff that I've long suspected. And well, I mean, you kind of look at the big picture of what Freemasons are all about and what they really are. let's just say they're on the devil's side on everything, basically. Pretty much everything. Uh, the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill and blah blah blah. The Illuminati. That's all not of God at all. At all. So yeah, avoid at all costs. And I mean all costs. That's pretty much what I got to say about that. I probably will have an episode about that coming up, but I'm not sitting here fresh, ready to go, all prepared, ready to go to talk about Freemasons and go into heavy detail as to what they're all about. But let me tell you, it's pretty scary stuff. So that's about all I got to say about that at the moment. Right now, again, encourage you, if you haven't and you've been interested in doing it, getting a fire pit, or if you already have one but you haven't used it ever, basically, use it, especially this time of year. It is absolutely, it's absolutely wonderful. It calms the mind, it helps you wander, and you can also, hey, as a Christian, which I, hope you are, you can, talk to God. You can pray. You can, meditate and all that. Meditate on God's word and hear what God's plan is. Hear what He has for your future and your present going forward. With that said, I hope all of you have a wonderful few days here before the next episode. Yep, so I may have a next episode coming up in a few days. We'll see. I don't have anything planned immediately. That's going to be like a major thing, like the OJ deal. But eventually, I'll have something something probably bigger coming up at some point, be it Mandela effect or other major topics that I haven't mentioned yet, or maybe continuing on OJ or other things. So with that, have yourself a wonderful few days. Enjoy the spring. Enjoy a fire pit. Enjoy fishing, grilling, whatever you do. And we'll talk to you soon. God bless the United States of America, and God bless you.